Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. This is the weekly market update live stream. If you are new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe to it. Please make sure to like the live stream. If you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝗵, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally share market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. So make sure that you are following my Twitter, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝗵. If you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. In fact, we have a few offers going on. We have a giveaway also going on, and then we have free 15-day membership that you can claim. All you have to do is just register on one of our partner exchanges. We are actively promoting Bluffin always. And if you already have a Bluffin account, or if you would make a new account and simply just deposit $200 or more, you can easily just claim a free 15-day membership with us for Foxium. So let's start the stream. If you guys have any questions, please make sure to drop in the chat box. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a few open positions that we have. We are planning to build a position on Bitcoin, and by the way, we had a very successful, win rate with all of these Bitcoin positions. I remember that the first one we took for this month was when Bitcoin was trading at Bitcoin gave this deviation retest. Bitcoin gave this deviation. The second one was at the time of this deviation retest. The third one was when it was breaking below this 116K support level. People are once again having issues with the audio. Let me just try to fix this real quick. Audio is perfect. Audio is fine for me. So yeah, for all those people who are saying that the audio is not working, please make sure to just try to fix it at your end, because everything seems to be working fine at my end. It's all good for me, yeah. So, audio is working fine at my end. Trust me, with this, there is nothing really that I can change at my end. It's all working perfectly. Let me just try to make some adjustments anyway. Mic check 1 2 3. Do you guys notice any change? Because I've just tried to adjust it slightly. Yeah, close the live stream and maybe then just reopen. I have made all the adjustments at my end, so everything seems to be working fine. Please let me know if still there is any issue. It's louder. Yes, exactly. So I was saying that let's just first of all talk about a few open positions that we have. And before we do that, we had a very successful streak on Bitcoin positions. The first one was when this deviation was happening. The second one was when this deviation retest was happening, and then price just had a break below this level. That's when we opened a short position. Price had a break above this level, above this resistance level, and that's when we opened a long position. So we are having, we have been having a good win streak on the Bitcoin position. So that is why I would like to keep it that way. And I would tell you exactly where I'm planning to open a new long position on Bitcoin. I'm not a very big fan of opening short position right now, especially the sort of market condition that we have. Although you can see that we have an ascending trend line, which we will be talking about later on, but still I'm not planning to open a short position right now. Okay, so let's just talk about a few open positions that we have. The first one is LDO. This is a spot position. You guys can see that, this position, in fact, I did give on my Twitter account as well. You can see that LDO had a break above this resistance level. It's a very strong level. We had price bouncing off this level from 1st of August 2023 till 6th of July 2024, for almost a year. Then price had a break below, then continued to trade below this level for almost 3-4 months. Then price had a break above this level once again. 3-4 months of consolidation, constant bouncing at this level and then finally had a break below. This was the first retest once again. So you guys already know that the the main rule which says that the first retest, it's always your single best opportunity to get into a long or a short position. And this chart right in front of you is giving the best possible example of that rule. You can see that this was the first retest, this was the second one, this was the third one, this was the first retest, second one, third one, this was the first retest, and then the second one was not a successful one. So the first retest is always your single best opportunity to get into a long or a short position. And by the way, the chart for Ethereum looks quite similar to this one. On the Ethereum chart also, we had a break above the 4,000 level after 4 years, and that is why any retest that you would have a 4,000 level, it's going to be a very good opportunity for you to get into a long position and a spot position on Ethereum. And I would like to respond to this very important question. So, in Discord as well, we have been getting, you know, we have been getting these questions from you guys asking that why exactly are we not opening any leverage position on Ethereum right now? The reason is because, first of all, we do have one spot position open on ETH, the entry for which is 4168, if I remember correctly. That is our entry for the Ethereum spot position. The reason why we are not opening a leverage position right now is because there is, the 4,000 level still remains untested on Ethereum, and there is still a chance that price would go back down and retest the 4,000 level. So I do not really want to take any risk right now. This is our spot position. If you are in this spot position, then you can see that price retested this level 3-4 times already, and you had a decent chance of getting into this spot position. It's already up almost this one is already up almost 6% from the entry point. So I'm not planning to open any leverage position on Ethereum until and unless price goes back down to retest the 4,000 level, 4050, 4100 level. That is where I would plan to open leverage long position on ETH, because we already know that this is a very strong level and this level still remains untested. And whenever there is a retest of this level, I would get into leverage long position, because the problem with the leveraged position is that you would need to have a small invalidation, and also you would need an invalidation. When you are getting into a leverage position, you would always need a proper invalidation point. With the spot position, you have the freedom that you can maybe have wide invalidation, you can have a wide stop loss. And remember that I only enter into a spot trade when I have high conviction for that trade. Okay, so it's not like I would just randomly get into any other spot trade. I would simply just get into a position in spot if I have high conviction for that coin. So same is the case with ETH right now. I do not recommend opening any leverage position on ETH. Only if it goes back down to retest the 4,000 level, that is where I would get into a leverage long position on Ethereum, right? So right now this level remains strong. We would take first TP of our spot position at 4,500 level, and then the next TP is going to be around the 4,800 level. Of course, this is the previous all-time high level as well, 4,865. So we would simply just take second TP of our position at 4,800 level. In fact, I'm going to close almost 70 to 80% of my position at 4,800 level. And a lot many of you have been asking me, now this was a bit of an annoying thing. A lot many of you have been asking me, do I regret closing my Ethereum long position and the Ethereum spot position which we opened at 3,000? Absolutely not. So I bought Bitcoin when it was trading around 56,000, 52,000 level, and I sold all of my Bitcoin, even the long-term holdings also, at 88,000, 89,000. I absolutely do not regret this, okay? Because the profit is only yours if you would book it. So same is the case, with that Ethereum position also, which we opened at 3,000 level. I made more than enough profits when price was at 3,900 levels. I'm more than happy that I actually closed that spot position also and the leverage long positions as well. Same is the case here. If price goes up to 4,800 level, we would simply just exit 70 to 80% of our spot position there. And if we get a reclaim of that level, if price breaks above the 4,800 level, we know that the previous all-time high levels, they would always act as strong support levels. So whenever price would go back down to retest the 4,800 level, we would get into a leverage long position and a spot position as well, with a tight invalidation, of course. So the point is that the kind of trader I am, I would be more comfortable playing these charts level by level, and instead of just buying, let's suppose, Ethereum at 1700 and then just continuing to hold it for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. No, I do not actually trade like this. I would simply just trade these levels the way you see them on the charts. So we bought Ethereum at 3000 level. We opened a leverage position on Ethereum at 3000 level. Then we exited all of our position at 3900, and I absolutely do not regret this. Okay. So 4500 is going to be the first TP for this position. At 4800, that's going to be the second TP for this position. So two positions we have open right now. First one is LDO. The second one is ETH. Both of these charts look really good. And I think that both of these positions I did share on my Twitter account as well. So if you are a free member, if you do not have access to the premium signals, then you can find these signals on my Twitter account as well. I do not usually share any leveraged positions on my Twitter account. I just keep it for the Discord premium members. But yeah, these two positions in spot, I think I did share in my on my Twitter account as well. So LDO is open, ETH is open. The third position that we have open is Mask. Uh, so you can see that this one is also trading at the support level. We have 1 day 12 period exponential moving average also, which is trading at the very same level. And then we have a position open for usual as well. Usual is looking really good, although, but we have set this trade at break even. The reason why it's looking good is because if you would draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, you would notice that. And in fact, I did share an update just an hour or two ago, just before the CPI numbers were released, that if you wish to buy usual right now, you can do so, because price is trading right at 61%, 65% fib level, and it's a very strong level. And in fact, it's a very strong support also. On the 4 hour time frame chart, you can see that price has almost always reacted at this level. So this has been a strong resistance level. Then price had a break above this level, bounced off at this level. Then we had rejection at this level. So this is a very strong support level. And it's no surprise that price is already bouncing off at this level. And on top of that, you can see that we have this descending trend line also, which is a very good thing, meaning that sooner or later price on the usual chart would break above this trend line. So if you wish to get into this position, you can do so. But we had this open long position. We have set this break even just to, uh, just to de-risk some positions, because we already have, a few positions open. And then there is this mask position also. Morpho is also open. For this one, we already took almost 2 TPs, and the third TP, it's going to be at $2.23. So these are the few positions that we have open. And, in fact, we still have a few other open positions also. But, these are the ones for which, these are the most recent ones. And some of these are the ones for which the stop loss has not been moved to break even. For example, Ethereum, it's still running at risk. LDO is also running at risk. You can see that the LDO chart, it looks really good. On the daily time frame, you can see that price almost always has reacted at this level, meaning that even if the retest of this level happens, it's very likely that price will eventually go back up to $2.46. In fact, I did mention this in Discord yesterday, that the two altcoins that I'm extremely bullish on, the first one is Ethereum, obviously, and the second one is LDO. Okay. And I'm not the kind of person who would look at fundamentals. I'm saying this because the charts look really good. And same is the case with Link also, but a slightly unfortunate thing with Link is that price is, quite far away from the support level where I would like to bid Link. So if I show you the chart for Link also, if it goes back down to retest this support, I would be more than happy to buy Link. But this is a support level, right? You can see that. And the unfortunate thing was that, we had a spot position open on Link. We took the first TP off that position. Then we got stopped break even when price had a break below this level. And I was planning to open a new position on Link, but unfortunately I was not able to do so. It was going to be sort of a breakout trade. You can see that we had a daily candle close above this level, and that was going to be a trigger. But I still have the limits placed. Sooner or later, price on the Link chart would drop back down to this level, and that is going to be a very good opportunity for you to get into Link. But Link, I'm not talking about Solana because Solana is not something that I'm extremely bullish on. The chart actually never made any sense to me. It's a very noisy chart, always in my opinion. But Link, the chart looks really good. You can see that price almost always reacts at this level. The same is the case with LDU as well. The chart looks really good. And once again, I'm not someone who would pay attention to fundamentals. I'm someone who would, always look at the charts. And based on that, I would decide if it's a good chart or not, if it's a good coin or not. So in this case, LDU, I'm absolutely bullish on. In fact, I gave the limits for LDO. I gave the trade for LDO, and it was filled yesterday. And soon after that, price made a 7% to 8% move. And LDO probably was the only coin which was still positive yesterday. When most of the market was down, LDO was still positive. So LDO, Ethereum, these two coins I'm extremely bullish on. The reason is, of course, the charts look really good. If you guys have any other suggestions, if you guys think that there is any other chart which looks, as good as these two charts are, then you can please let me know in the chat box. So now let's talk about Bitcoin. And before, I talk about the Bitcoin chart, I would like to take a look at the total chart. Now, just a few hours ago, I did share this update saying that if you would take a look at the Bitcoin chart, or if you would take a look at _.c.d chart, or if you would take a look at the USDT dominance chart, you may not have a very clear idea right now. Normally, if you watch these live streams, you would know that normally we start from the USDT dominance or _.c.d chart. Now, if I show you the _.c.d chart, you can see that it's right now trading in the middle of nowhere. This is the resistance level, and we did open a long position on Bitcoin as soon as _.c.d had a break below this level, had a break below the support level. And we opened a long position on Bitcoin as soon as USDT dominance was breaking, USDT dominance was breaking below this level. Okay, so that is why you need to keep an eye on all of these correlated charts side by side in order to make the best possible decision. So USDT dominance and _.c.d. Now, if I take a look at _.c.d chart, you may not really have a very clear idea as to what exactly is going to happen, right? Because _.c.d right now is trading in the middle of nowhere. This is the resistance level for _.c.d. The first retest already has happened. That was a very good opportunity for you to get into a long position on Bitcoin. We already had a long position open on Bitcoin at 116.3k. That was a successful long position. And the support for _.c.d is at 6.87%, which means that looking at the _.c.d chart, you may not really have a very clear idea of as to where exactly price is headed towards. The second chart that you can take a look at is USDT dominance. The update that I shared yesterday, at that time, we took the final TP on our Bitcoin long position and we closed 85% of that position. USDT dominance was trading somewhere around here. Okay, so this is something that you would refer to as a swing failure pattern. I would not go into the details of that, but price just had a wick below the previous major swing high. Now, this is not something that you would consider a proper break of structure, but I did mention at that time that there is a very high possibility that price would eventually go back up to retest this resistance level. And since it's going to be the first retest of this resistance, it's going to be a very good opportunity for you to get into a long position on Bitcoin. But to tell the truth, it's not a swing long position. And for those of you who have been actively trading with me, you guys would already know that I'm more of a swing trader. I do not like to catch these $1,000, $1,500 moves. And that is why I would get into a long position on Bitcoin where I'm absolutely sure that, price would bounce off at this level. So this is why I did not play this move. And, looking at the Bitcoin chart, because there is this ascending trend line on the Bitcoin chart, we had the first bounce, the second one, third one, fourth one, and this was the fifth one also. So that is why, I would not really want to get into a long position right now. Another point being that price right now is essentially trading below this resistance level. And this is a very common pattern that we have seen, that we have seen take place exactly last time as well, in which we had, in which we had a deviation above this level. You can see that we had a deviation above the 120.5k resistance level, and then price had a break below this level, meaning that this was a clear deviation. Price then went back up, retested this, this was a deviation retest, and that was going to be a very good short opportunity for you. So same is the case here. In fact, I did mention this, uh, you know, uh, in my last Bitcoin update also, that because price has been bouncing off at this, trend line, and because we have this resistance that price is trading below, and because we have this deviation above the resistance level, so that is why I would not really want to get into a long position right now. If you are only looking at the USDT dominance chart, obviously you would say that, okay, because this is the first retest of resistance, so let's just get into a long position right now. But if you are looking at the Bitcoin chart, then you would notice that because Bitcoin right now is bouncing off this ascending trend line, and at the same time we have this deviation above $120,000 resistance level, and on top of that this is going to be the deviation retest. So that is why it may not really be a very good idea to get into a long position on Bitcoin, especially if it's going to be a swing long position. Because to open a swing long position, let me tell you exactly what I'm looking for. To open a swing long position on Bitcoin, I'm waiting for total to drop back down to this higher time frame support. So this is the daily time frame chart for total. And total, as the name suggests, it's simply just the crypto total market cap, an index which is showing you the total market cap of crypto, which is right now sitting at $3.94 trillion. Now we know that whenever we exclude Bitcoin dominance from total, that is when we get something called total 2. So Bitcoin dominance right now is sitting at 60.29%, which means that out of this $3.93 trillion market cap, out of this $3.93 trillion crypto total market cap, 60% right now, 60.9%, 61% is sitting in terms of Bitcoin only, which means that total's price action is heavily influenced by Bitcoin. And I remember, in one of these live streams, I did mention that if you wish to know what exactly is going to happen with Bitcoin, you have a choice to either look at the Bitcoin chart, or you can take a look at the USDT dominance chart, or USDC dominance chart, or stable.c.d chart. Or if any of these 2 3 charts are not giving you a clear picture of where exactly price is headed towards on the Bitcoin chart, then you can always take a look at the total chart as well, because we know that total is the total crypto market cap. But at the same time, because Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 60%, 61%, it basically means that total's price action is going to be heavily influenced by what exactly happens with Bitcoin. And this is exactly the reason we opened a long position on Bitcoin, because total had a deviation below the support level. And whenever this deviation retest happens, and in some of these previous live streams, I already have explained the importance of a deviation retest. I already did explain, how powerful a deviation setup really is. So this was a deviation, and that was a very good opportunity to get into long position on Bitcoin. And whenever price on the total chart drops back down to this level, $3.75 trillion level, that is going to be the deviation retest. Now I have no idea where exactly price on the Bitcoin chart would be at that time. I'm not willing to take a long position on Bitcoin right now, because in my personal opinion, total is sitting in the middle of nowhere right now. So whenever total drops back down to this higher time frame support, so that is going to be a perfect long opportunity for us. And that is where we would open a long position on Bitcoin. And especially considering the fact that we have mixed signals. For example, USDT dominance is telling you to take a long position on Bitcoin, obviously because USDT dominance right now just gave the first retest at the resistance level, so that was your long trigger. But at the same time, if you take a look at Bitcoin chart, it's right now sitting under $120,000 resistance level. At the same time, it has this ascending trend line, which means that we should not really be getting into a long position on Bitcoin. And finally, if you take a look at stable.c.d, it's right now trading in the middle of nowhere, which basically means that you should not really be getting into a long position on Bitcoin right now. And that is why you do not, you actually have very conflicting signals. And that is why I would wait for price to give me, a perfect opportunity, the one that we had back at 112K, which we unfortunately missed for some reason. But that was a very good opportunity, $112,000 level. So that is why I'm just waiting for price to go back down to this level, 116.3K. Most likely, whenever total would go back down to retest $3.75 trillion level, Bitcoin at that time is most likely going to be at 116.3K to 116.5K. So that is my, that is my whole opinion about the Bitcoin chart. Now let's take a look at the others BTC chart as well. Now others BTC chart is just bouncing off at this higher time frame support level. You can see that, in an update that I shared yesterday in my channel, I did explain in detail why it's so important to always have this index added into your watch list, others BTC. Now, others BTC, it's simply just telling you, uh, the strength of mid market cap to low market cap coins in comparison to Bitcoin. So whenever price on this chart it would go up, it would basically mean that the low market cap and mid market cap coins, they are going to be strong in comparison to Bitcoin. And whenever price on this chart it would go down, you would notice that, uh the low market cap and mid market cap coins, they're going to be weak in comparison to Bitcoin. A live example of this happened 24 hours ago when price on the Bitcoin chart went from 117,000, 118,000 up to 122,000. But most of these altcoins, they were going down. The reason was because price on this index, others BTC index, was going down. It was in fact sitting at this resistance level. And we know the basic function of resistance. You should never really be getting into long position on something whenever others BTC is at resistance, and you should try to get into a long position on these strong altcoins whenever others BTC is at support, right? So in this case, you can see that, and in fact, if you are interested, you can read that detailed update. In that detailed update, I did explain everything, uh, you know, uh, in clear words, how exactly this chart is going to play out in the next few days. But the good part is that others BTC has this descending trend line. Now others.d also has a similar kind of descending trend line. Others BTC also has also has got this similar kind of descending trend line. Same is the case with the simple others chart as well. Now, since others BTC is bouncing at this support level, so that is when you would see that the altcoins, they are going to be strong in comparison to Bitcoin, meaning that even if Bitcoin would go 1% up, 2% up, that is when altcoins, they would pump a lot. And this is exactly when you should be getting into a long position on altcoins. This is not a very strong support level because the actual higher time frame support is still at this level around 11 cents, but right now you can see that price is just bouncing off at this small support level. And once again, the good part is that others BTC has got this very good descending trend line, which means that sooner or later price on this chart would break above this trend line, would break above this massive trend line, and that is when you would see that the altcoins are going to clearly outperform Bitcoin. And once again, a live example of this happened a few days ago in the past 1 or 2 weeks when price on the Bitcoin chart literally was trading around 116,000 to 118,000, just a $2,000 range. But most of these altcoins, they were going crazy, 20% up, 30% up, 40% up. So yeah, you need to have this index added into your watch list. Now, if we take a look at the others.d chart as well, you can see that others.d had, most of these altcoins, they dropped a lot in price. The reason once again was because others.d was sitting at the resistance level. But right now you can see that the others.d also has got a very similar kind of descending trend line. The formation of this was confirmed after this rejection, meaning that sooner or later price on this chart would break above this descending trend line. That is when you are going to see that the altcoins, mid market cap and low market cap coins, they are going to clearly outperform Bitcoin. And a few live examples of this you already have seen during the past few days, in which others.d was going up, and as a result, even Bitcoin remained stable, and others.d was going up, others BTC was going up, and as a result, most of these altcoins, they were clearly outperforming Bitcoin, right? So this is the update in terms of all of these different indices. Bitcoin dominance once again is sitting at support. Now this is something which you need to be very, very careful about, because Bitcoin dominance just created this massive deviation below this horizontal support, and now it's just giving the deviation retest. Now Bitcoin dominance is looking slightly weak in comparison to how it was just a few weeks or months ago, but still Bitcoin dominance is sitting at support. It has this massive deviation, it has got this massive deviation below this higher time frame support level. You can see that this is a good higher time frame support, meaning that if there is a deviation, then there will be a deviation retest, And if you could trade this chart, normally you would get into a long position right here. And that is when you need to be careful with any open long positions on altcoins, because Bitcoin dominance right now is still sitting at support. Same is the case with BTC DOM as well. You can see that BTC DOM, this chart you can actually trade is still trading or sitting at higher time frame support, which means that unless price on this chart goes below this support level, you cannot freely take any long position on altcoins. And once we have a break below this higher time frame support level, once we have a break below this 4,000 level, that is when price on this chart would eventually go back down to 3,600 level, which is going to be massive for altcoins. And then the next higher time frame support is at 3,400 level, which means that BTC DOM would have a long way to go once it breaks below this higher time frame support level. And that is going to be extremely bullish for altcoins, because remember that even if Bitcoin remains stable and BTC dominance going down, altcoins, they would at least go up a little bit. Okay. And the perfect recipe for an altcoin pump would be if Bitcoin dominance breaks below this higher time frame support, and that is when and Bitcoin remains stable. That is when the altcoins, they would pump a lot. Or even if Bitcoin starts going up with BTC dominance going down, that is going to be a perfect recipe for an altcoin rally, or whatever you would like to call it. We have seen more scattered rallies, I would say, instead of having one bigger rally. So this is something that we have seen during the past 2 years or so. We have seen this first rally which happened back in the month, back in the first quarter of 2024, and then we had a similar one in the last quarter of 2024, then a similar one in the first quarter of 2025, then a similar one in the first 2 weeks of May, then a similar one in the month of July, then a similar one in the past 1 week or so. So you are seeing these more scattered rallies instead of having just one complete rally in which everything would pump at the same time. But I still think that one of those rallies would happen. But Bitcoin dominance, others BTC, because remember that others BTC, you know an index which is giving you an idea about the strength of altcoins in comparison to Bitcoin on the daily time frame chart. This index is still moving in a downtrend. Okay, so you have an impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, and you have not seen any change of character right now. So change of character would happen once we have a break and close above this level, and once we have a daily candle close above this resistance level, that is when it's going to be extremely bullish for mid market cap and low market cap coins. So right now on the others BTC chart, although it's definitely showing some signs of life in comparison to how it was trading just a few days ago, just a few months ago, right now it's definitely showing some signs of life, right? But the point is that this chart, it's still trading in a downtrend, meaning that it would take a lot for these mid market cap and low market cap coins to just give the sort of rally that most of you guys want. 60 plus people are watching the live stream now. This is a good this is a good audience, and I want all of you to please like this live stream and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Only 28 of you have liked it, so I would really appreciate if all of you are just able to press the like button. If you guys have any questions on this, please make sure to let me know in the chat box. But overall, you can see that price on the Bitcoin chart just wicked into this 119.5k level. This is something that I'm actually afraid of. That price on this chart, this is by the way the deviation retest. And in my update, I did mention that if I had to take a short trade, which I'm not planning to, by the way, I'm not planning to take any short trade because this is only going to be a scalp. It could be a swing trade, but I do not have all the confluences aligned perfectly. But if I had to take a short trade, I did mention this in my update also, that you would place the limits at 119.5k. You would place your stop loss right above this high, because if price goes back above this resistance level once again, that is no longer going to be a deviation retest, and you would set your TP somewhere around here. That is going to be a decent 1.3 hour trade. Or you can set more optimistic targets also, like around 112,000. But the point is that this is the deviation retest, and deviation retest, we know that this is a clear deviation, we know that this is a deviation retest, and deviation retest is always a very good opportunity to get into a long or a short position, because deviation itself is a very powerful setup. I would highly recommend that you guys go and watch some of the previous in some of the recent live streams, because in those live streams we did discuss in detail the complete setup for a deviation, that how exactly deviation works. Thank you so much for liking the live stream. I would really recommend that you guys just join the Discord server as well, because we have some discount offers going on. My ETH is pumping. Remember that I have been getting two questions very often. The first one, why exactly are we not opening any leverage long positions on Ethereum? That one I already have responded to. The second one is that what are the odds? What are the chances that Ethereum would go back down to retest 3,900 to $4,000 level? Now remember that Ethereum has a decent support at 3,900 to 4,000 level. Ideally speaking, that is going to be your single best opportunity to get into long position on Ethereum. But because we already have a spot position open, and ideally speaking, 3,900 $4,000 range, that is going to be your perfect opportunity. That is your single best opportunity to get into a long position on Ethereum. But it's not like the price on the Ethereum chart has got any obligation to go back down and retest the 4,000 level. Now imagine the same thing about the $3,000 support level as well. Now imagine that if we were not trading that breakout, and if we just kept on waiting for that retest, which never really happened, the retest of $3,2,800 level never really happened. You can see that this breakout happened, this breakout candle. As soon as we saw this breakout candle, we immediately got into a long position, leverage long position, and a spot position on Ethereum with the targets at 3,900 level. Now you can see that the retest of this level still has not happened. The same could be the case with this 4,000 level as well. And in fact, we have seen some decent retests of this level. Our entry was 4.4169. You can see that how precisely this 4169 level was tapped multiple times, giving you multiple opportunities to get into this spot position, which in my opinion is a very, very good one. A much better one in comparison to $3,000 level breakout, because this is happening after 4 years, right? After 4 long years, this breakout is happening. So this in itself is a very good thing. And if we there is a decent chance, you cannot rule out the possibility that price would go back down and retest maybe 4,3,900 level, because ideally speaking, that is going to be the single best opportunity. The breakout trade is not the best trade, but the retest trade, especially in circumstances like this, in which this level has not been retested before, considering the situation that we are seeing a breakout above this level after 4 long years, considering the situation that this is not just a daily time frame support, but even on the weekly time frame, this is a very strong support. Ideally speaking, you would wait for price to go back down and retest at least 4050 level. But because this was a breakout trade, because we had a very similar sort of situation, when we had a breakout above the $2,800 $2,900 level. So I wasn't really sure if price would go back down and retest the $4,000 range anytime soon, and I did not want to miss out on this whole move. And that is exactly why I noticed this level 4169, and I placed the limits. And the very same day, after a few hours, I remember this was back on Sunday, after just a few hours, price tapped this entry. And the point is that you cannot rule out the possibility of having a retest at $3,900 $4,000 level. But even if that retest happens, you need not to be afraid of anything. You need not to really get scared of anything. That still is a very, very good, decent opportunity to get into a position. And I'm sure that a lot many people, they would try to get into a position whenever that happens. There are a lot of different traders who actually prefer trading a retest in comparison to breakouts. This is a genuine breakout. We already have seen that. Whenever you get the first breakout candle, that is where you would have to speculate a lot of things. That is where the most amount of uncertainty is present. uh, you know but as soon as you see price consolidating above that level, you are really sure at that time that okay, this was a genuine breakout and cannot really be a fake out. At this point, even if Ethereum goes back under this resistance level, sorry, and goes back under this level, goes back under the 4,000 level, this still is not going to be a deviation. because we already have seen a few daily candle closes above this level. Deviation is only if price goes above this level. Deviation or a retest, whatever you would like to call it, deviation would only happen if price goes above this level and then quickly falls back under this level once again. Okay, something similar to what we saw, I guess, happened. No, yeah, we have seen a few examples of this. For example, on the Bitcoin chart, you can see that price on the Bitcoin chart had a break above this level, and then without any consolidation quickly fell back under this level. There was a quick sell off. So this is something that you would refer to as deviation. By the way, this was a good short trade. We did not take this short trade, but anyways, the risk to reward ratio is not very decent in my opinion, but still there is a possibility. This is the doodle that I have drawn on my chart, and there is a possibility that a retest and then price would eventually drop back down to 116.3k level, because that is my point of interest for this trade. SS lead is asking, now over to you guys. If you have any questions, please make sure to drop in the chat box. Mask is looking really good. It's sitting at this higher time frame support, unlike a few other coins that already had a break below their higher time frame support levels. With this drop that happened during the past 2-3 days, Mask is holding pretty well at this higher time frame support, has this 4-hour trend line breakout as well. And because you see, usually whenever I'm trading these horizontal support and resistance levels, I usually try to judge if price has reacted at this level in the past or not. So at the daily time frame chart, on the 4-hour, 8-hour time frame chart, you can see that price almost always has successfully reacted at this level. So this was the first retest, successful one. This was the first retest, successful one. This was the first retest, successful one. This was the first retest, although a small one, but successful one. So I'm assuming that this is also going to be a successful retest of this high time frame support, and that is why I would prefer to keep this long position open on Mask. Morpho, we have open leverage long position, but that one we already have moved the stop loss to break even. LDO is also open, is at the entry point. If you wish to open a spot position on LDO, you can do so right now, because it is trading at the entry point. This was also a breakout trade, but whenever the whenever this retest of support happens, that is again going to be another very good opportunity to get into a position. Second Pratt is asking, can I hold usual since it is so strong instead of closing it break even? Yes, you can do so. If you wish to keep a position open on usual, you can do so right now, because usual is not looking too bad. Honestly speaking, it's trading. I just showed you. It just had a bounce at the let me show you what I'm talking about. You can see that it just had a bounce at this 61%, 65% fib level. Usually that is where price would bounce off at if it has to create this bigger move. But you can see that this is also a very strong support level for usual. It has this descending trend line on the daily time frame chart, meaning that the chart itself is looking really good. If you wish to hold it, you can do so right now, but make sure that you are reducing your risk a little bit. You need not to have the full risk. Maybe just close 50%, 75% of position, and just have like 35% position open, something like that. TGR is saying, how about Trump coin? I'm still waiting for a good entry, but risky coin. Now, I haven't really traded the Trump coin ever, because it's more like a shit coin to me. So I can take a look at the chart for you, but I am not particularly interested in trading that coin. So having spent 7 to 8 years in these markets, although I do not have any sort of personal association, or I should be saying that, even if at times I do mention that I do not have any sort of personal association with these coins, emotional association with these coins, but that is not entirely true. No matter how good the setup on Trump coin is, I would never really want to trade that coin, okay? Because ultimately a shit coin for me. So, and the price action is not something which I absolutely enjoy looking at. So in this case, although it has been giving respect to these levels, you can see that this was the first retest of this higher time frame support. It gave a decent 9% move. This was again the first retest of this resistance. Higher time frame resistance gave another 9% move. This was another first retest of this higher time frame resistance. So although it has been giving respect to this level, and right now it's sitting at this higher time frame support, but it's basically a no trade zone for me. You can see that this is the higher time frame support that I'm talking about. Although it is sitting at the higher time frame support, but still price already has reacted at this level quite a few times. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and this is going to be the seventh retest whenever that happens. So maybe at some point in time, if it breaks below this level, and by the way, you have a very beautiful example of deviation. This is deviation and this is deviation retest, or you can call this a deviation retest. Uh, and then this is deviation and this is deviation retest. And it really depends how you would draw the SR levels. Once again, it's a bit of a subjective thing, but yeah, this is your deviation. This is the clear deviation. So right now price is sitting at support because price already has bounced at this level quite a few times. So I would not like to bid this level until and unless we have a move like this in which price breaks below this level, flips it into resistance. That is where I would wish to take a short position at the retest, or if it breaks above this level, I would want to take a long position at the retest of this higher time frame support. What caused ETH ripping, though longs would be in green too, but they were still, if you are asking from fundamentals perspective, then obviously there, I was just reading the news, there has been some decent buying by BlackRock as well, by other institutions also. The ETF inflows have been really, really positive. But if you are asking from the perspective of chart, then it's very obvious price just had a break above the $4,000 level. I mean, it really depends on which part you would like to believe in. If you are someone who believes in fundamentals, then the ETF inflows have been really good. But if you wish to just take a look at the chart, then price just had a break above the $4,000 level. 4 years, with price struggling to break above this level, it's a big thing in itself. It's happening first time after November 2021. So yeah, you have your answer. This is the reason why ETH is pumping. Uh, I am Ape Strong, one of your students. Wow, you have a decent username here, Sexy. So do I call you Sexy or what? Ape Strong. Yes, I remember you, Ape Strong. You are from Nepal, or maybe some other South Asian country. What's your question? Uh, is there something similar like others BTC also for ETH except ETH dominance? Yes, you actually have a similar kind of chart, like ETH USDT.3x, ETH USDT.3L, ETH USDT.5x, and ETH USDT.5s. So these are 3 or 4 charts that you can take a look at. Although I'm not really sure if they still remain listed on KuCoin or not, but let's see. ETH USDT.3s. So ETH USDT.3s, once again, it's 3 times the leverage token for Ethereum, meaning that if this one would go down, then Ethereum would go up. So if you are planning to open a very good long position on Ethereum, then you should wait for ETH USDT.3s, and I believe this is going to be $4,000 level for Ethereum. If you are looking to open a very good long position on Ethereum, then you need to wait for ETH USDT.3s to go back up and give the first retest at this resistance level. And you can see that because ETH USDT.3s has been in a constant downtrend, and this is exactly why ETH has been going up. Price on the Ethereum chart has been going up. Alternatively, you can take a look at ETH USDT.3L as well. Now you can see that ETH USDT.3L, once again, it's 3 times the leverage token for Ethereum. If this one is going up, if Ethereum goes 1% up, this one would go 3% up. So in this case, you can see that if you would draw the support around here, this is a decent support. And whenever ETH USDT.3L drops back down to this $12 level, that is a decent support for ETH USDT.3L. That is when you would want to get into a long position or a spot position on Ethereum, because this is the higher time frame support for ETH USDT.3L. Same is the case with 5L as well. It's 5 times the leverage token for Ethereum. But yeah, this one is only listed on Gate.io. It's going to give you a similar kind of price action. You can see that if it drops back down to this level, that is when you would get into a long position on Ethereum. Or you can take a look at 5S as well. This is 5 times the leverage token for Ethereum. And if this one goes back up to retest this resistance level, that is when you would get into a long position on Ethereum. Okay. So these 4 charts you can use if you want any correlated charts for Ethereum. You can call me Orlando. Okay. So what's your question, bro? I hope ETH goes back down. Why are you hoping for ETH to go back down? You mean down to $4,000 level? Magic USDT and 𝗂𝗏𝗏 look solid. Can you check? So Magic USDT actually has. I have been trying to catch this coin. It's just continues to go up, but the moves on Magic USDT are really clean. You are right. If I show you the chart for Magic USDT, you can see that that chart looks really good. Uh, so I have the I have the alerts placed around this level. You can see that this higher time frame support has not been retested, but yeah, it's one of the cleanest chart that I have seen. You can see that it's just bouncing at 61%, 65% fib level. So that was a 70.5% fib level retest. If you draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, 65% fib level retest. If once again you would draw it from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, once again 61% fib level retest. If you would once again draw it from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, price has not retested 61, almost retested 61. In fact, it did retest 61. This was 61, 65% retest and then pumped once again almost 20%. And that is why the moves on Magic USDT are really clean. But I'm waiting for price to drop back down to this higher time frame support. In past, we have seen that price almost always reacts at this level. So whenever price drops back down to 20 cents level, that is when I would be more than happy to get into a long position on or spot position on Magic USDT. If we take a look at the chart on daily time frame, then you would draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave. Then in that case, you can see that 61, 65 has not been retested. So until and unless price creates a new higher high, or we have a new major swing high, we can always draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, and in that situation, whenever price goes back down to retest this level, it's going to be a very good opportunity. Update about mask. So I already have given the update about mask. That mask is looking good and it's trading in the range. It's trading at the higher time frame support. Price almost always has reacted this level at this level in past, which means that the chart is looking good and you can just continue to hold it. This is the only leverage long position that we have open. Usual we did set it at break even. Hyper. Okay, let's take a look at hyper. So for those of you who have been watching my previous live streams, you would know that I never really like to trade these kind of charts, that have very small uh a number of candles, very little price action data available. So same is the case with hyper as well. You can see that this was the previous all-time high for hyper. Price had a break above this level. Like I always mention, the previous all-time high, it would always act as a good higher time frame support. So same was the case here. Price had a break above this level, then came back down to retest the previous all-time high. That was a very good level to get into a long position. But apart from that, I think it has got this descending trend line also, still in formation, although. But if we see a breakout above this level, then maybe we would decide to get into a long position on hyper. But right now, this is not the chart that I would like to trade. Yes, I would be interested in taking a short position if price just breaks below this level, consolidates, then goes back up to retest. That is where I would want to get into a short position on hyper. But apart from that, yes, all you need to know is that price is sitting at the higher time frame support, and it has this descending trend line, meaning that if we see a breakout like this, maybe just one candle, one 4 hour candle above this trend line, one daily candle above this trend line, I would be interested in taking a long position or a spot position. Stop loss just below the support level and then target like this. So yeah, it really depends on the breakout. Once again, 50 plus people are watching the live stream. I would really appreciate if all of you are just able to like the live stream. LDO, please. 𝗏𝗏𝗃, I did explain everything about LDO. You guys can watch this live stream back again if you have any confusion. I actually did a complete lecture on LDO, that why do I think LDO is a really good looking chart right now. But even if you are just looking at this chart with the horizontal support and resistance levels drawn, you would know that the chart itself is looking really good. We had a breakout. The price is trading above this level after 4 or 5 months, which makes this chart really good. This is a breakout, and in the past also you can see that price almost always has reacted at this level. SS Lead is asking, do you think alts would follow ETH pump today? My some longs are a little too red right now, and what do you think? ETH is not giving you a huge breakout or something. I mean, ETH was at 43.75 just a few hours ago, and ETH right now is 43.90. So it's not like ETH has moved ETH has moved $400, $500 up. Okay, so you guys need to seriously, just uh not pay too much attention to these charts for a short period of time. Let each do its own thing, and then you can decide if it's giving you a huge move or not. It literally just was trading at the same level a few hours ago. So just yesterday ETH, the high for ETH was at 4368, and right now it's trading at 4397. So nothing really has happened right now. Okay, Ondo, 10 minutes earlier. 𝗏𝗏𝗃 is saying, my bad. Yeah, if you go and watch this live stream later on, in the very start, we did discuss everything about LDO. Do you think certain trading strategies suit some coins better than others? Uh, this is a very difficult question, a very good question, in fact. But I believe that it really depends on the strategy itself. And in fact, I would be able to give you a very clear answer to this because I'm someone who has personally experienced this thing myself. So if you are someone who's trading solely on the basis of indicators like momentum indicators, price action indicators, volume indicators, blah blah blah, RSI and all those things, then you may experience something like that. Then you may notice that one of these strategies, they would work better on a few assets in comparison to a few other assets, or it would work better on one asset class in comparison to some other asset class. But if you are trading the fundamentals of technical analysis, if you're someone who's trading the basics of technical analysis, like support, like resistance, like trend lines, like chart patterns, like to some extent order blocks, then the rules would always remain the same. The rules of play would always remain the same, no matter if you call it football, no matter if you call it soccer, no matter whatever you would like to call it, right? So same is the case here. If you are trading if you're trading based on basics, fundamentals of technical analysis, something which I trade based on support and resistance, trend lines, chart patterns, then even if you're trading the chart for coffee, even if you're trading the chart for cotton, even if you're trading the chart for gold, silver, any other commodity, crypto, forex, or any other chart, then because the rules are same, because the support is a support, price already has bounced off at this level in past, that is why we're calling it support, then in that case you may not really experience a significant change in the strategy, in the performance of the strategy. The strategy would essentially perform in the very same manner. But if you are someone who's trading based on, whenever this indicator flashes a green signal, and whenever that signal whenever that indicator flashes a green signal, whenever price breaks above the EMA, that is when I would get into long position, that is when I would get into short position. Mind you, I'm literally telling you this thing, that there are people who are trading based on these logics, and they are trading successfully. Okay, they are making decent profits. So if you have a strategy like this, then it's 90% possible that the strategy may not work for any other asset class, or it may work for some assets and it may not really work for the other assets. Scalping using some indicators and swings using fundamentals, yeah, this is what I'm trying to say, that most people who are doing scalping, they usually try to do this based on these indicators. Arrow chart, please. Do you think we can short Bitcoin at 122,000? If you ask me honestly, I do not really think you should be shorting Bitcoin right now, even though I still believe that price on the Bitcoin chart could go back down to 116.3K. But because you may not really be able to catch a bigger price swing, that is why I would not recommend shorting Bitcoin right now. Let's take a look at the chart for Euro USDT. Now, I have missed this whole pump. I did miss this whole pump on Euro. Uh, this was my position on Euro. And can you guys actually imagine this thing that, just before this pump happened, I was about to drop this signal in my Discord as well, but I had an open position on Euro. And just before this pump happened, I noticed that price was trading below 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, and for some reason, I closed this long position on Euro. Although I was 80-90% sure that, because Euro was positive on a red day, so it looked like Euro would be giving a decent move or a decent breakout. But anyways, this was my position on Euro. If you are looking to build a position on Euro, remember that the first retest of this level, this was a small first retest on the 4-hour time frame chart, but the actual retest has not happened, meaning that this, $1 level, that is going to be a very good opportunity for you to get into a long position on Euro. And in fact, I would set the alerts around here, and whenever we get the opportunity to get into Euro at this support, I would definitely avail that. It's one of my most favorite coins, and the price action most of the times is usually very clean. If you guys remember, this was our first trade on Euro, then the second one we had somewhere around here. This was our third trade on Euro. The fourth one I was planning to enter when this breakout happened, and which unfortunately I was not able to do so. But yeah, this one. Screen froze. It's working fine for me. It seems to be working fine for me. I guess YouTube is telling me it's time to close the live stream. Yeah, I guess the stream health is excellent. Everything seems to be working fine. Stream is showing hyper for us. Oh, that's because I guess I've set the latency at normal, so probably that's why. FET and render not perform well. Please explain chart. Now, I know a few people who did ask me about FET and render, and my honest opinion was to exit these two coins because we have a better coin in the same category. If you're talking about the AI coins, then Tau and Hype, these two coins, Hype is not from the AI category, but what I'm trying to say is that Hype and AI, sorry, Hype and uh, Tau are the two coins that have outperformed the rest of the market, have outperformed all of these other altcoins for the past 1 to 2 years. Meaning that if you wish to pick one coin from the AI category, instead of going with FET and render, you should be going with Tau, in my personal opinion. And this was the same suggestion that I gave to someone who came to me with a $2 million portfolio, and they had a significant amount of FET that they were holding in their portfolio. And my suggestion was you would not really be able to make decent profits if you would just continue to hold FET and render. These two coins, they used to be good. In fact, Injective also used to be a good one 2 years back, but 1 or 2 years back. But right now, you have a much better pick in the same category. Yes, for long term, it's going to be a good hold for you. Giving 1 month of free subscription today. Yes, the winners will be announced in Discord. If you are not a part of Discord server, please make sure to join in. If you are looking to build a position on Arrow, I don't know if screen is still frozen or not. But if you are able to see my screen, then this is the level that I'm looking at. $1 level, it's 1.0277 is the exact support for Arrow. That is where I'm planning to uh, build a long position on Arrow. Which channel? You need to join the Discord server. Remember, guys, please make sure to like the live stream. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are not following me over Twitter, 𝗟R𝘁𝗶𝗵𝘁, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally share market updates and calls in my Twitter account as well. Uh, so please make sure to join. Please make sure to follow me over Twitter. And if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can join in the Discord server. All of these links you can find in the description of this video. Divine is saying hype and hyper are two different charts. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I showed you the chart for hyper because that is what you requested for. I'm talking about hype. I'm not talking about hyper. I don't even know what hyper is. It's basically, it could just be any other shit coin. I'm talking about hyper liquids hype. That hype and tau are the two coins that have outperformed the rest of the market. And I showed you the chart for hyper, not hype. Is there hope for the S spot position we took some time ago? Yes, there is definitely hope for S spot position for Sonic. As I mentioned earlier, I would not get into a spot position if I do not believe in it. Hype is a good coin, just buy any dip. Yeah, Hype is definitely a good coin. It's a good project. Uh, yes, yes, Divine. Okay, all good, all good. Sorry for that. I thought you were telling me that these two are different coins. I was just saying that yes, I know. I have never even looked at the chart for Hyper. I don't know, what exactly this coin is all about. But yes, Hype and Hyper are definitely two different coins. You are right. Uh, okay, so that's it for today. Uh, Chris is saying Hype. Which price should I buy at? Hype. So are you guys able to see my screen or not? Okay, then if you are planning to buy Hype, then $38 level, $39 level, that seems like a good point to me. Where you can bid Hype. Uh, the chart used to look really good, and I was initially planning to buy it at $28. And if you get a dip down to $28, that is going to be a very good opportunity to buy Hype. But $38, $39 to $29, that is going to be a good range to accumulate Hype, in my opinion. Uh, so that's it for today, guys. If you want, you can watch the live stream later on because it's on YouTube. So, it should be working fine. The screen should be working fine. I still don't know what exactly is the issue with screen. Uh, it just went off towards the end. Uh, Once again, please make sure to just like the live stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me over Twitter, join the Discord server. All of the links you can find in the description of this video. It would really help a lot if you guys are following all of these steps. You can even claim the free membership of the Discord server, which would save you $60. All you have to do is just open a Bluffin account and register with our referral link, or you can simply just, if you already are trading on Bluffin, you can simply just give us your UID and we would convert it to our referral link. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care and have a great week ahead. Any new altcoin positions? Uh, yes, I would see if I have any good setup that I can share with you guys. But right now, we would just continue with the ones that we have open. LDO, Ethereum, Mask. These positions are active, running at risk. Stop loss has not been moved to break even. Usual, it's completely on you. If you guys wish, to take the trade for usual, you can do so. It's looking good to me. But yeah, based on your risk tolerance, you can decide if you want to go with the usual position or not. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.